Hello, today in this video I am going to review the CQF program. So the CQF program is a very well-known certification program in quantitative finance, and today in this video I am going to talk about that. I'll talk about whether this is suitable for you or not, for who this is suitable, and what are the different aspects of this program. If you have questions, do let me know in the comment section. All right, so in front of me I have the brochure of this CQF certification program. You can simply do a Google search CQF, and you can go to the website where the details are there. So on the website, if you provide your details, your contact details, you can easily download the brochure. Right, it was started long back, I think over 2 decades back. It was started in 2003 by someone called Paul Wilmot, who is a well-known author in the field of quant finance. He was a professor at Cambridge, if I am not wrong, in mathematics, and is a very well-known author. He has written many really good books in quant finance. So this program is run by him, the CQF Institute, in collaboration with Fitch Learning. Fitch is a company which is a rating company. It is a similar company to that of Standard and Poor and Moody's. So Fitch is the third most well recognized rating company, and they do have a learning department. It's called Fitch Learning. So this certification program is delivered in collaboration with the Fitch Learning. So it has got international recognition because of that, because Fitch is known very all over the world as one of the leading rating agency, and because of this collaboration, I think the popularity of CQF has grown over the years. All right, so you will find the details about the program in the brochure. It starts with what this program is about, and an introduction by Dr. Paul Wilmot himself, and it's been there for 20 years. So you have a very good alumni network all over the world, certainly in India, but also elsewhere, in Singapore, in Dubai, in London, in US, in other parts of Europe. Okay, so there are simply not many certification program in the field of quant finance, and therefore CQF is the most trustworthy one, simply because it is being taught by leading practitioners, leading authors in the field of finance, quant finance, and beside that it has recognition from Fitch. So this is a true alternative to the university master's program. In fact, many people believe that CQF is actually better than master's degree from universities. That can be disputed a bit, because CQF is a certification program. It doesn't have university credentials. It is as expensive as any master's degree from UK or US university, or probably less expensive, but it's still quite expensive. And this is a program that runs for 6 months, unlike the master's program, which are mostly 2 years in the US, but I think 1 year in European countries. So it's not an apple to apple comparison. However, many people I worked with, they consider CQF to be better than the university master's programs, because university master's programs can be very, very theoretical compared to CQF, where most faculties are practitioners, industry practitioners, and they probably teach also some applied stuff, the stuff that is used in the industry, and not just the theory and boring derivations, something that is taught in university by the professors. Most professors in university don't have any real world experience, so you can't expect real world stuff from them. Okay, So this certification comes with a primer. If you are not from maths background or programming background or finance background, you can learn some basics of mathematics, finance and programming from the primer. What I have learned, it's not enough actually. I have had the opportunity to talk to some folks who have done this. Some people really struggle after enrolling because it was too mathematical for them. All right. You can study part-time, so that means this is a program that you can do part-time. You do not have to quit a job to do this. This is also an advantage over doing a full-time master's degree. You can do it online. That even though this is offered from London, you can do it from anywhere in the world, and you can finish this over 6 months time. 6 months time is actually not sufficient in my view to learn quant finance. But if you really want to know the most important stuff and the things which are used in the industry, I think 6 months is fairly a good amount of time. Even though I would say it will take quite a number of years to master the skills that you have learned in these 6 months, right? But it may be very hectic for some people. What I have heard from people is that if you're having a project, a very a project where you're quite involved, you do not have spare time, then doing this part-time can be a bit challenging. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the application process is very simple. You go to the CQA website and apply there. I don't think the entry barrier is that high. I think anyone with some skills or experience in the field of programming or finance or anything of that sort can enroll. And this is not a program like FRM or CQF where you have to sort of complete the exams in order to get certified. I think most people who enroll for CQF, they pass these exams and get certified. So this is almost like guaranteed that you will get a certificate at the end of the course. Okay, and unlike CFA, where you will only be certified, or you will get the charter holder, if I am pronouncing it correctly, you become a proper CFA only after having a couple of years of experience. If I am not wrong, about 4 years of proper experience in investing. You must have experience working with pension funds or other types of funds, or even trading companies maybe. Only then you will be qualified to get a proper certification. Otherwise you will simply be CFA but without the charter. So that is not there in CQF, right? You don't have to have quant experience in order to be fully certified in CQF, right? Like CFA and FRM, people also put CQF right next to their name on LinkedIn profile and on their CV as well. In many places this is actually not recognized as the CFA is, or the PhD program is, or even FRM is, by the way. Especially in Europe, some parts of Europe, I know people ask you this question, okay, what is this abbreviation CQF? Especially in the risk management area, on the credit risk side, many people are not aware of it. But on the market risk side, on the derivative side, I think most people are aware of this program. So you don't have to explain this to them in the interviews. This is something you can finish in 6 months time. There are about 6 modules. It starts with the basics of quant finance, and then moves to quantitative risk and return, equities and currencies. There are 2 modules on data science and machine learning. Data science and machine learning wasn't part of CQF program, I think, even until 2016 or 17, if I'm not wrong. I think these 2 modules have been added more recently. It was more derivative focused at some point. There were too much of topics in derivatives, pricing of derivatives, that kind of stuff. So people who used to do CQF, they were mostly from market risk areas. They were from sell side quantitative areas, but there were not many people from, let's say, trading areas doing CQF. There were not many people from credit risk modeling area doing CQF. That has changed over the years. I think they have included data science and machine learning, which is now becoming more popular in the trading area, investment area as well. Having said that, they still lack at least on one area. They don't cover the risk modeling areas in the field of credit risk modeling. I think that's not part of it, but I may be wrong, but I checked the syllabus. I don't think they cover development of PDLGD EAD model, or validation of these models, or stress testing, climate risk areas. These topics are not covered, or probably I'm wrong. The sectors where CQF certified people work are in the field of banking, insurance, investment management, trading, professional services, energy and technology, and IT. I've said this many times on this channel that most quants do not work in the trading area. This is a misconception that quants work only in the trading areas, right? They only work in 2 Sigma, Citadel, Jane Street, and that's it. Actually, that's not true. That's just one of the many areas. In fact, most quant work in the banking and insurance areas. In banking and insurance sectors, there is a need of more number of quants compared to that in the trading and investment. So I think most of the quants from CQF program, they go on to work in banking and insurance. Some work in trading and investment areas, and some in consulting, like working in Big Four consulting or technical consulting. And they have students from all over the world. So this is therefore recognized all over the world, because they have alumni, a good alumni network, and they have a global alumni network. And as you can see, most of their students are from Europe, but they also have many students from US, North America, South America, other parts of Europe, even Africa, India, China, Japan, Australia, and you name it. Okay, this is the program is delivered in bit blended fashion, I think, and they have 2 options to choose from, as in you can either go for a full program, that's one option. The other option is you can complete level 1 and level 2, like you have different levels in FRM or in CFA. You also have the different levels in CQF. And it's a bit about the primer. What you learn the primer, you learn calculus, linear algebra, probability statistics, you learn some Python programming. You also learn some finance stuff, macroeconomics, capital market, money market, time value of money, financial assets, and everything. More details about the modules. In the first module, you learn about stochastic calculus predominantly, heavy mathematics, and then you learn about the use of stochastic calculus in various things, but most importantly the asset pricing area, a bit of time series and all. You learn about Gart's model, Arch model. The problem with this course is that even though they don't expect you to have a background in statistics or econometrics, they do use some very sophisticated econometric models in their modules. For example, the Gart's model, but that's not part of their primer, right? So I'm not sure if they teach Gart's model in detail before using it in the pricing models, right? So that part is a bit unclear, and that's exactly the reason why I have heard from people who do not come from a statistics and mathematics background having a bit of a challenge with that. But it's still possible, right? You learn things and you just know the uses of Gart's and Arch model, other time series models, even though you may not have proper or a solid background of these models. You may not have a good understanding of the theory behind these models. All right, in the module 3 you will learn about equities and currencies and different derivatives related to that. As I was saying, that this heavily into derivatives, right? Paul Wilmot is very well known for derivative, his derivative books, right? And derivative market has come down over the years, especially after the financial crisis of 2008. That market has come down quite drastically, whereas quant finance has become much more than just derivatives, right? Quant finance is now more into the lending side, right? Direct lending, which is the credit risk modeling side, and trading side, right? Which could include derivatives, but also could include other products, not necessarily just derivatives, right? So these two areas were not very popular in the quant finance community before 2010, but after that it has changed a bit. So if you are an aspiring quant, make sure that you broaden it and you are flexible with selecting which area you want to go into, and not stick to just one, right? They teach data science, machine learning, but I think most of what they teach is it's more generic data science, right? They don't teach how to, for instance, use reinforcement learning in portfolio management. I don't think they teach things at that level, simply because there's simply not many use cases of that. There are some theoretical use cases, but I don't think many companies are using very sophisticated machine learning modeling in their trading and investment activities. Some people are experimenting, but it's still quite niche and not widely used. They also have a module on fixed income, right? There are several modules or short topics on electives, for instance, on portfolio management, algorithm trading, C++, counterparty credit risk modeling. Yeah, so they don't teach PD, LGD, EAD modeling, that's for sure. They don't teach IFRS 9 models, so they don't teach much of credit risk modeling, although they do teach some counterparty credit risk modeling. Again, that's more into derivatives. They teach algo trading. I think a lot of students, a lot of people reach out to me and ask this question, whether CQF is a right certification if they want to go into algo trading. And I tell them that while you learn a bit of algo trading there, this is not a certification program tailored made for algo traders. So instead of spending your money doing this, where you will be learning a bunch of other stuff which probably are irrelevant for algo trading, you rather should go for a specialized training in algo trading. And there are some specialized programs run by some institutions, right? So CQF is certainly not the right program, but there's nothing wrong with doing this, by the way, right? I'm not criticizing, but what I'm trying to say is that CQF is more than just algo trading. All right. And bit more details as to how this will be delivered. I think it's more blended. That means there will be live online tutorials, but also recorded ones, and you will get notes, and they have a library where you can go, an online library where you can get materials and you can learn from tutorials, and obviously finally you will have a final project. All right. Very packed, concise, right, compared to a full-time master's degree, where you have a lot of time in between your semester or trimesters. You probably even can do internship in between the semesters, but that's not something in the case of CQF. It's very packed for 6 months, and therefore the program is very concise. Okay, what else? You will have access to the portal, CQF learning portal. I think they're also going to give you access to the app where you can use the materials, and you can have access to the materials for lifelong. You will also get access to their books and magazines, if I'm not wrong. and you will have the access to the alumni network as well, which is, I think, quite good. I was talking about the alumni network of one other program. I would say that alumni network for CQF is much better compared to other programs, any other program, by the way. So I think that is quite really quite good. Okay. Faculties, you have amazing faculty. Paul Wilmont himself is an amazing faculty. He has quite a number of lectures on YouTube, by the way. He's an amazing talker. He's very articulate, very amazing speaker, and really breaks down concepts in a very easy to understand language. And he's not a fan of programming and automation, all of that. He teaches mathematics, right? He's more of a mathematician than a programmer. So if you're coming from a computer science background and you think that quant finance is just about writing code and automating stuff, then obviously Paul Wilmont is not the teacher you want to learn from. Paul Wilmont is a mathematician and he's more into mathematics, and he uses just a plain blackboard to teach things. So I think the CQA program is also more or less about that, and less into programming, more into mathematical modeling. Okay. And they have a lot of other bunch of other faculties from industry, but also from academia, and that's exactly the reason why I said this program is better than the programs from the universities, simply because in university programs the faculties are mostly theoreticians, people who write research papers, but they have practically no experience of real world. So while they teach theory very well, they probably don't teach anything about the real world. So therefore this is better. If you are looking for a career in the industry, this is better. There are some frequently asked questions. You can go through that. It's more about the formalities. I think the most important question is what is the fee? Okay, this is a very expensive program. I was looking at the fee. Let me go to the next page. Yeah, this is the fee you have to pay. It's about 18,000, and on top of that you also have to pay 20% VAT. So the fee comes out to be more than 20,000 euro. 20,000 euro in Indian rupees, that would be, 1 euro is about 90 to 92, so that will be about 18 lakhs, right? But for Indian citizens, I think they give discount. I think the total fee is about 8 lakhs, 7 to 8 lakhs, something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but please, you have the contact details here. Either call them or just write an email to these guys, and they will revert back to you with the fee. If you have an Indian passport, do let them know. I think they give a massive discount. I think some 60-70% discount on the fee if you are from India. Okay, so it's quite expensive, especially for a 6 months program. If you really want to have a well recognized program, industry recognized program, this is one good certification for you. But I wouldn't recommend this for students who are in college right now. I think if you are already a quant professional, you already have some experience in the field, then this certification is quite good. But if you haven't started, I won't advise you to go for this, because it's quite expensive. That's first thing. But the second thing is that you may not get the best out of it if you haven't really worked in the industry. So get a couple of years of experience and then do this, right? If you are short of money, if you think you cannot spend that kind of money, then go for certification program which are less expensive, right? You can find many alternatives to that. The recognition of that may not be, or most likely not, nowhere close to that of CQF, but you will learn even in other certifications programs. So, and I think beyond a point, certifications don't matter anyway. Okay, but I would never advise you to, let's say, take loan and do the certification, because that will increase your chances of getting hired. And there are some myths being spread on internet. Stay away from that. I think it's quite a risk if you are spending, let's say, 10 lakhs and you are not from a financially sound family background and you have taken loan. I will never advise you to do that. first get a job, have great money, and then you can go for this. Then this will be more beneficial, and obviously you will be having a better financial status to pay for this program, right? Until then, just go for this shorter programs, shorter courses, which are much less expensive. You can do in 3 to 4 months time. You get a good introduction of that, you start your career, get some experience, and then go for this. All right, but nevertheless, it's an amazing program, and perhaps by far the best certification program in the field of quant finance. And again, I will reiterate,